Hey everybody, welcome to another G Slade's Indie Music Showcase. Thank you so much for listening to each and every episode that you do. I want to invite you to check out the sponsor of the show, which is myself, G Slade, over at gslade.com or look up G Slade on Spotify. Have you heard the new single, Canceled? It's all over the place. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, it's everywhere. You can stream music. YouTube video coming soon. Hopefully, it features the very talented and very good human being, wonderful person. World's Not Gray, all the way from Barbados. We're an international operation here, and today's no exception. We will be talking to a very talented man that rocks very hard, Mr. Egor Lappo from St. Petersburg, Russia. So I'm excited about this. I'm going to dig into a little bit of as much Russian culture as I can justify getting in on a music interview. I'm really excited about this. And you could tell kind of gone all out and redecorated the place with his artwork. So very excited to have him on. A couple of great songs we're going to play for you. Stay tuned at the end of the show. If you want to hear that new song, Canceled, we'll play that. And we'll have all the links for Igor's music down in the bottom. So sit back, enjoy the show if you're driving to work or at work or cutting the grass, whatever you're doing. I'm just glad you're listening or watching. Don't forget, we are on YouTube, Spotify. We're everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, that's enough from me probably. So let's go talk to Egor. All right, peace out. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of G Slade's Indie Music Showcase. I am your host, G Slade, and today we are pleased and privileged to talk to Egor Lappo from you're over where at?
What?
Where are you in
I'm
the
at
world?
home in
No, I
St.
mean like
Petersburg, in St. Petersburg, Russia.
St. Petersburg, Russia. So I'm excited because you're my third Russian guest, but you're the first one I've talked to when they're actually in Russia. So that's kind of cool. Really an international show. So we talk to folks from all around. But anyway, Igor, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing like, I'm doing okay. Let's just put it this way. Who is doing fine like this year or previous year? No one. And I'm not an exception.
Yeah,
It's all right.
I didn't know how much Russia was affected by all that pandemic-y stuff. So is it more or less the same over there? People get sick. Some people wear masks. Some people don't. Some people get vaccinated. Some people don't.
Yep, exactly like that. And I've had some issues in my personal life, let's put it this way. And previous year, when it all started, like in March, April, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I guess in March, yeah. All the concerts were canceled, but it's okay. Yeah, and I just had to go home to my hometown, which is Kaluga, and it's near Moscow, really close. And there are recorded vocals for EP called "Make the Sun Shine More" because, well, I didn't have anything else to do. So yeah,
Makes sense. Yeah. I actually hit a creative like wall during the pandemic. I don't know, man. You'd think I would have been really creative in 2020, but I was not. I got back into it January, February of this year, so I'm kind of back in the groove. But yeah, I think it affected people differently. I missed out on a lot of concerts myself. So, were you going to do any performances that got canceled?
you mean mine performances or someone
Yeah, yeah.
else's?
Were you going to do any of your own?
You mean mine performances as an artist?
Yeah,
I don't perform.
I got
I
you.
am, yeah. I'm a kind of solo artist, and I wait for an opportunity to like perform as a band. But I just in Russia. I don't know how in other countries that work, but in Russia there are a lot of bands that are like don't record music at all. They just play live shows, which consist of their songs and like several covers of like Metallica and Linkin Park and all that, you know, all that
Hmm.
stuff. With all due respect to those bands, especially Metallica, and and like they don't make it like their own show. It's just like a show of some guys who play their songs and play some other people's songs. It's not like You know what I'm talking about? Like when the ghost came in, or Lordy, or someone. You know Lordy, right? I guess maybe
Yeah.
it's like Guar, but not Guar.
Yeah.
So when their first shows happened, it was like it was already sold out. It was already everyone was crazy about this music because it was already on the internet and people were already like they wanted to see it live. And my music, well, I'm not sure I'm quite ready for it because there is no sense to do such thing, to like hire people to perform it, to rehearse it, to anything. So yeah, I will wait until the time comes and when I feel it's time to do it. So yeah.
All right, right on. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. As far as my own music, I don't have a band or anything. I just produce it myself, and sometimes I collaborate over the internet with people, and it's out there on the internet. But yeah, I'm not. I'd love to do it live. It'd be kind of fun. But now, as far as the music culture over there, why do you think it's like that, where bands are just doing live shows, covers in a couple of in a couple of their own, and not necessarily recording a lot? Why do you think it's different over there than say over here, where everybody's recording and posting their stuff?
Well, in Russia it's different because our music culture is very, like, let's say 10 years late if we're comparing it to other countries because uh, there is a like not very famous band called Iron Maiden. Have you heard about them?
Yeah, yeah. Iron Maiden's huge over here. Yeah.
Yeah, just kidding. So yeah, there was a band called how do I pronounce it in English? Aria, area. I don't know, like musical, areas,
Yeah.
something.
I may have heard them. Who knows? I'm not striking a memory right off the top of my head, but I listened to so much random. Were they metal?
They were just like there were jokes about how much they sound like Iron Maiden
Ah,
because it's like totally like lots of stuff just sounds like Iron Maiden, like they just ripping them off. And
makes sense. Yep.
yeah, and when Gent appeared in like late 2000s, early 2010, Gent is still quite popular there. Like people still love this da 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 da. Da. So when like maybe in USA it's already out of fashion kind of thing, but there it's not. And I don't know. It's like different mentality, something like that.
Yeah,
People
it
don't
just
really,
it
yeah,
just
yeah,
depends on the crowd. Stuff will be out of fashion as far as like maybe mainstream, definitely what is mainstream to an international perspective. But I tell you, man, no concerts in America are packed more than the metal bands and the rock bands. They still sell out. Even the guys from the 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. If Metallica does a show, you're not going to be able to get into it.
it's the same here. It's same.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And all the hair metal bands, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, all those guys, they still sell out
Yeah.
arenas. So, and then now hip hop's really big in America. Is that big over there in Russia at all?
Oh, the thing is that I don't care.
I
I just kind of I don't follow that scene, and sometimes
got you.
people, yeah, sometimes my friends tell me that as a musician I should know what's happening right now, so I follow some trend. But like, who cares? If you follow some trend, it will be old like in a year. So there is no
Hmm.
sense. And I don't know. I don't follow hip hop, and especially like Russian hip hop, which is just eh, I don't like. Let's put it this way. I don't. I just, yeah. Because I know some like artists in a like global arena that have like tattooed faces, like weird teeth, weird hair, or all that stuff. And when I see it, I'm just, no, I don't even want to listen to that because
Right.
it's all about the image. It's all about like 14-year girls adoring this kind of behavior, you know,
No,
this
I
kind of,
feel you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, there's definitely always been like way less image um concern from like rock bands. They seem more like we're just gonna go out here and play. Especially when you talk about Metallica and bands like that. I mean, they literally just go out there in like jeans and a
Yeah,
jacket, you know.
just dressed in black.
Yeah,
Kirk Hammett wearing some leather stuff, and Robert Trujillo is just being some gorilla type of behavior,
yeah,
and
he'll
that's
just
it.
be wearing like a black T-shirt. I mean, and you know, the same for Lars, especially these days.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, your influences come from a lot of rock and metal. How did you get into that? How did you discover this music and become passionate about it?
Oh, it was when I was like 10 years old, I guess. You know this band, you know, Deep Purple. So
Yeah, I love
there
Deep
was,
Purple.
yeah, I just accidentally heard Smoke on the Water and Child in Time and Highway Star, and there was. I just listened to Deep Purple like 2 years and nothing else. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I was a fanboy and I'm still a fanboy. So there were albums like Machine Head Burn, like those like Fireball, and I just I can play name the tune in terms of Deep Purple and guess all the songs.
Awesome. Yeah, I have the Machine Head on vinyl, and I just love to spin it over and over again. It's good
Oh
stuff.
wow.
And they inspired some of my other favorite bands, like my favorite band overall, because I grew up listening to them, was Def Leppard. You know, in
Hmm.
the '80s.
Yeah, I saw Hysteria movie. I guess it's called Hysteria.
Yeah, yeah. There's some accurate stuff in the movie, some not so accurate stuff in that movie, but
But it's fun. It's fun.
but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Deep Purple inspired their current lead guitarist Phil Collin.
Do you know
Not,
that
yeah.
the vocalist of Def Leppard is on the cover of Maiden Japan concert album of Deep Purple?
Hmm.
He is in the crowd in a photo from the album sleeve cover art.
I did not know that. How about that? There's some more Def Leppard trivia. Cool. And how did you go from listening to all that, listening to Deep Purple, discovering other bands, to deciding you wanted to write, create, and record?
I don't really remember that, but I was just fascinated by like John Lord and Richard Blackmore chemistry in terms of like songwriting and their solos. They're always influenced by classical music. You know, in the Highway Star, for example, there is this Bach, most Beethoven type of stuff, and yeah, I just thought that they look cool and they sound cool, and I want to incorporate that in my life when I was 12. So yeah, that's how it was. I actually tried to play keyboards, and then I tried to play drums. None of that worked. Then I tried to play bass, and I played bass for like 3 years or something like that. And then one person told me that there is no bass player who can't play guitar, so play guitar. And yeah, I played guitar and kind of stuck with me. So yeah,
Nice. Now, did you teach yourself? Did you have a teacher? Or...
no, never. I I 1 year I was learning in my hometown in a college, musical college. That was helpful in terms of music theory. I learned some cool stuff, and I was learning classical guitar. You know that
Yeah, it's
with
pretty
with
cool when you infuse that into metal, though. Because you can get really cool tones, and then you put that against, a metal-driven, backing, and it's pretty dope.
yeah, maybe one day. I'm too lazy. And there were lessons of Russian orchestra with
Ah,
balalaikas and bass balalaikas and all that stuff. That was epic. That was just epic. There were like 30 people sitting there and playing some stuff that sounds like from Russian old cartoon, classical
yeah.
music.
Oh, excuse me. So, you're in St. Petersburg, right? How far is that from Moscow?
12, no, 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 no. 8-hour train from Moscow, and from my hometown, it's 12-hour train. It's
What's your
closer,
hometown?
Kaluga.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Don't know that one.
it's near Moscow. It's really like close to Moscow. 2-hour train ride.
Hmm. Not bad. I got you. Yeah, I can't say I've ever been to Russia. Have you ever been outside of Russia?
Yeah, I was in Finland 3 times. No, 4 times. The first time I was in Finland, it was because of Devin Townsend concert, and
Nice.
it was just magical because he threw me a pic from stage, and then he went off from stage to talk with fans, and he asked me if I got a pic. Like, did you catch the pic? That was the first thing that he said when I approached him to talk to him, take a photo. That was
Nice.
magical. Yeah. And also I saw in Finland Between the Bird and Me, Lebros and Devin Townsend once again. Yeah, I was in Finland because it's really close to St. Petersburg, like six hours of train ride or something.
I've had a couple of guests from Finland. They seem pretty chill, pretty cool over there. So awesome. I've never gotten over to Europe or any parts of Asia myself. I've been stuck in the U.S. my whole life, so I'd like to travel here eventually. Well, when it's safe again, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm gonna travel right now. So, how did you guys have to lock down pretty strict in your area or?
It was insane and it was absurd in like year ago in March last year, because you were just walking, minding your own business, and some like policemen come to you and tell you to not walk, even if it's like near by the river, when no one is around you. They just
Right.
come here and they have to like make your life worse.
Hmm.
But now, yeah, masks are required, uh, being required everywhere. I think it's the same as like everywhere. No concerts, like nothing, nothing's going on. I'm out of job. I was out of job. Now I got another one. So
Oh, well, that's good.
yeah,
What were you doing? What was your
uh,
job?
nothing interesting. Just the delivery guy.
I got you. That could be interesting, man. I think all jobs are interesting in one way or the other, because it's not interesting to you because you did it every day, but to somebody who doesn't know anything about it, it might be cool. But
Yeah,
we're glad you got back on your feet, man. That's awesome.
kind
Or
of.
that you're getting there. Um, yeah, I think concerts are pretty much starting back up in the U.S., man. The vaccine came out and everybody just decided, COVID's over. We're going back to normal.
Yeah,
So,
maybe. But Uriah Heep and Jethro Tull are still postponed a year after a year. Like, it's not happening until summer 2022. We're just
wow.
having a local band here. And that's it.
So, did you guys have access to like the vaccine over there?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We
Nice.
do.
Is it optional or do they require it?
No, it's optional.
Cool, cool. I'm asking all these questions because Russia intrigues me because in the United States we get this like one-sided narrative of what Russia's like in general, and it's all like Putin this and Putin that and Russia this and that, and
Hmm.
like you'd think that it's just like this uh just this bleak place to be, like it's like some other world. And I've always figured it they're probably just like us, just chilling, trying to listen to good music and eat some steak every now and then and just enjoy life. And
Yeah,
I don't think everybody's over there plotting against America. You know what I mean? I don't think most people don't care about what we're doing, just like we don't care about what most people are doing.
totally. But have you seen those Florida man memes, right?
Oh yeah.
So Russia is like Florida.
Oh okay.
It's like Grand Theft Auto. You know those
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, my
It's like
kids love it. Yeah.
it's like this, but in real life. Sometimes, very often, like crazy stuff happening, and
I just watched that movie Icarus. Have you seen that?
no,
Well, actually, I don't know if they would. I don't know how the media works over there. It was a movie about the Russians Olympic teams using steroids or something.
no, that's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. It has nothing to do with music, but like I said, I have the opportunity to chat with somebody inside Russia. I figure I'd take
Yeah,
advantage.
it's called Icarus, right?
Icarus. Yeah, it was about the Olympic well, actually there was this famous like anti-doping lab in Russia ran by this guy, and they were like famous for being one of the best at detecting stuff, but allegedly he was also at the same time helping the Russian national team cheat, and
Hmm.
basically claimed that everybody but the figure skaters were doped up. And maybe it's true, maybe it wasn't. And you know what? If Russia's cheating, they're not the only country, so I don't really take. I figure
Yeah,
everybody's doped up, so it's probably all equal anyway. If
I'll check it
everybody's,
out.
yeah, if everybody's on testosterone and steroids, then it doesn't matter, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. But anyway, cool. So we were talking about music. Let me try to get back on track. Now before this show, before we came on, we were talking about Ghost, and I tell you, I was a late comer to the Ghost fandom. So in 2019, a I was at a music festival in Tennessee,
Hmm.
and I live in Mississippi, so Tennessee's like directly north of Mississippi.
Hmm.
There's about a 8 or 9 hour drive, maybe 10, I don't know. And Def Leppard was gonna close the night out on one of the three stages, right? And on one of the stages, Def Leppard was gonna close it out. So, there's like there's a gap on each stage because the band will play and then that stage will be empty and a different stage will play while they get the next one ready.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, well, let me go watch the band before Def Leppard and then I can move up to the front, and I'll stand there for an hour while it's empty to be at the front row at a Def Leppard show.
Hmm.
And wouldn't you know, Ghost was on before Def Leppard. And this was the first Ghost experience for me. And I was like, holy shit. So first time I ever heard Ghost was live, and they had the big set, and everybody in costume. And I was like, how have I not
When it was 2019, right?
19? Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it
October.
was a prequel.
Yeah, prequel. Yeah. Yeah, I love that album. And I obviously like all their stuff now. They also did Mariana Cross,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
single.
yeah.
And actually, I don't have it. I wish I brought it out here, but my wife painted me that, the like EP cover for Mariana Cross and
Yeah, this
Kiss the
like
Goat.
60s stuff, like
Yeah, well,
psychedelic.
she painted that on a canvas for me, and it's just really cool. And so I'll have to post a picture of that.
Huh.
So and then she just gave me this shirt for my birthday because I'm all about Ghost, man. They're awesome. So when I was reading your press release about your new album and said that it was like Ghost inspired by Rush, I was like, well, holy shit, because Rush is also, you know, I mean, you can't beat Rush, right? As far
Yeah.
as musicians go. How long have you been into those two bands? Or do you know? Or
Yeah, Ghost. I've heard like the band name, and like everyone else, I thought that they were playing something like
right?
but I downloaded Meliora the day it came out. It was like 21st August of 2015. And I was listening to this like first song Spirit, which is whoa, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then there was like a Pinnacle to the Pit. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I don't like Series at all. It's like one of my least favorite songs by Ghost. Yeah, it's just infinite, like this the sound that's coming to the. And then there was He Is, and that's like blew my mind. Like if you don't know, Tobias actually wrote He Is as a joke because his wife loved Italian songs,
Mm.
and he tried to like write something like that. And He Is was supposed to be recorded on in second album, how it's called, Infestisumam, something like that.
Yeah, I
But
don't
it
know them off the top of my head.
but it
Um,
didn't work out. So yeah, and then I heard Mummy Dust, and that was so like dark and fun. That's cool. Like in God we trust.
mhm.
Wow. Rush, yeah, I love Rush since like maybe 12 years old. I just had a DVD like Russian Rio concert from 2003,
Yeah.
and wow, I was so fascinated by it, like by all of those songs, like 2112 and Tom Sawyer, YYZ, all of that.
Yeah,
It's
especially
just
their early stuff. Their early stuff was definitely good. They got a little kind of weird in the 80s, went real synthy, but
that's my favorite era, by the way.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it just depends on what you're into. I mean, they're great musicians, so it all sounds great. Just depends on the vibe you want to hear, I guess.
no,
Um,
there are weird albums from the synth era, like Hold Your Fire. I don't really understand it, but Power Windows is my top 10 by any band.
nice.
And
Have you
yeah,
seen them live? Have you seen Rush live?
no, they never were in Russia ever, so never had a chance.
I'm trying to remember if I saw them. I don't think I saw Rush. Um, yeah, I think I am thinking of someone else that I saw. I don't think it was Rush, but I want to say I did see Rush. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that because I think I saw them, and you would think that I would know, for sure, because that would be a pretty distinct show.
You
Um,
should use Setlist FM, setlist.fm to track your concerts.
yeah, I should do that. I mean, most of the concerts I go to, are Def Leppard tours, and so I see whoever's touring with them.
Mhm.
And until I went to that music festival in 2019, which pretty much made me only want to go to music festivals from here on out because that was so much fun. I saw so many bands and discovered several bands. You know, like Ghost. I'd somehow never come across them, and
Yeah,
I saw them live, and I was like, oh, holy shit.
they were one time in Russia, but it was in summer 2019, by the way. Yeah, and it
Nice.
was as a support of Metallica. So as you can guess, it was hard to get tickets, and it was one show in Russia. It was in Moscow. So man, no, no.
So do bands do that? Do they just like go to Moscow and then or
Yeah, there
not?
are two cities, Moscow and St. Petersburg, just two cities.
Hmm.
Sometimes smaller bands like have a right over the whole country. Maybe Korn does that, by the way. But yeah, that's it. Just two cities for the whole country in terms of
Yeah.
concerts.
One of your songs I was listening to, I got a corn vibe off of it.
What?
Yeah, not like completely. It wasn't like, oh, okay, it's a corn song, but I was like, there's some like I don't know, some sonic characteristics there of corn. I don't know if what it was, and I can't remember which song it was, but I was writing down songs. So I made like this the Igor's greatest hits according to G Slade. So I have to share that with you. It's funny. I noticed most of the ones I wrote down are the ones you had other people on with you, which I thought made sense because I know every time I work with somebody, it comes out better just because you have multiple perspectives. My favorite songs of my own are usually collaborations with other people.
Mhm.
Um, so, how do you go about finding partners to collaborate with? Is that over the internet or local people?
Both. Well, the first album, Wave Without Light, which was released in 2018, it was I didn't sing at all, like at all. I wasn't a bad singer. I wasn't a singer.
Right.
So I got some people. I wrote all the lyrics, all the melodies, and I just sent it to people. Yeah, there are. Okay, let me tell you, the first song which that has vocals is "The Perfect Star." It has Plasma in a like title, and Plasma is my favorite synth pop band from Russia since I was 10. So it was a very huge deal for me to get their singer to sing on my album because eventually it turned out that he is a huge Metallica and Dream Theater fan and he
Nice.
really enjoyed it. Yeah. So yeah, those are local people. Uh, most of all, most of them I know personally. There is Arsafes, a guy from Russia who plays metal in a band like Kartikeya and Above the Earth. And yeah, he was also awesome. And I was his fan before He participated on the album for like 4 or
That's
5
cool.
years. Yeah,
That's pretty neat that you got to work with somebody you were already into.
yeah, that's crazy feeling. Like hearing their voice over your music, it's like wow, how did that happen?
Yeah. Um, Now I've collaborated with people I'm pretty big fans of, but never anybody like that I've listened to over the years and then got in
Hmm.
touch with them. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't even know who I'd want to collaborate with. I'd love to work with this group. Have you ever heard of Fever 333?
I can see the title like in my head,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I can't remember any music.
They're really good. They're just a three piece. I actually saw them live at that same festival. I saw Ghost. Now I'd already heard them, but I didn't realize how good they were. For three people, the live show was ridiculous, and
Hmm.
I definitely recommend checking them out. They're kind of a
I will.
they're kind of an evolution of Rage Against the Machine. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know if you were into them at all, but
kinda
I thought
a
they were
little
really
bit.
good. Their tones and stuff were awesome that Tom Morello would get and the bass tones they would get.
Yeah, I remember some balls on parade.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, that was an awesome one. They just the riffs they did, I thought were amazing, and they always caught my eye, caught my I say eye, my ear, caught my ear, it caught my attention, whatever I'm paying attention with. Um, yeah, I basically churned through like your discography today. I listened to the entire new album, um, Trance Voicer, and
Yeah.
I listened to what's that one? Is it Azimuth or Azimuth? How do you pronounce that?
I also asked this question USA citizen a few weeks ago because I have no idea. Let's just say Azimuth.
I'll go with it, and
I don't know.
and then Way Without Light. I didn't go through. Um, I didn't get through the singles or the Make the Sun Shine More EP. I didn't get through the whole thing anyway. But I listened to those three albums in full, and man, it was a good experience. I was just writing down songs every time I heard something. There wasn't a bad song, but when I heard the ones that I liked even more, so that really stood out. I wrote them down. And actually, I wrote down two of them that you did with, and I'll probably say his name wrong, but like Artem Sergeyev.
Yeah, it's Artem Sergeyev.
Oh, I was close.
Close
Damn it.
enough. Yeah.
I was close. For a Mississippi guy, that's not bad, because we can barely speak
Yeah.
English here. So,
Oh, yeah. He's a cool guy.
um, now in your press release, I thought it was cool because it talks about how you do the vocals and guitars and mixing and mastering, and that was actually one thing I really noticed is that your music, the production and the mastering is very good. So, where did
Oh,
you pick up those skills? Like, how did you get good at that? Because I tell you, I've been struggling with it for 15 years and I'm still iffy.
I'm still struggling with it actually, and I can't say that I like can compare my mixes to like all those cool bands because obviously they are not on the same level. But for some people they are. That's cool, and I didn't like learn it on purpose. I just recorded guitars. I just like wrote drums on MIDI with the help of my friend Ivan Shishkin, and yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like tweaking stuff until it works. Like for example, Trance Voicer, right? I started to mix it in April or May, and the album was released in March. So it's very important if you are having an album to make this basic sound of guitar, bass, and drums, and just applying the same presets on every song, tweaking a little bit, and lots of other stuff like keyboards and vocals. Yeah, they're kind of individual from track to track, and the mastering is the same. Yeah, one very important thing about it is that when you are mixing, you are using some audio device to like hear it, monitor something like that. I use those
Wow,
just like headphones for like $10 or something like that, maybe even cheaper.
man.
Because
So
it's the most important thing is like not to mix it on different headphones and different monitors, because you will not have this picture that you are thinking about, that you are dreaming about to achieve. But when you are used to this kind of sound from one particular device, like headphones, you know, you're used to this sonic kind of stuff that's going on, to this EQ, uh, to all of this, and you're trying to recreate it, uh, then you may succeed. If you just use one set of headphones instead of just like jumping, checking your mix on different devices, because it will always sound different.
Right.
But the thing is, like when you're listening to Ghost, for example, on different devices, you don't care when something sounds louder than something else. You just enjoy the song.
Yeah, you don't even think about it.
Yep.
That is true. So what is your favorite Ghost song?
Oh,
You only get
great
one.
question.
You get
Great
one.
question. Great question. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, the first album was way too like doom, like heavy metal for me. The second album is like no. Oh, I think I'm close to answering that. One song, one song. Okay, I will get two, from the pinnacle to the pit,
Okay.
and the second one really close is Deus in Absentia.
All right. Good choices. Good choices. Good
And
stuff,
Deus in
man.
Absentia just because of the drum fill before the solo. It's awesome. It's like
Did you see him not too many weeks ago? He did um
live.
yeah, he did that live show where he did the Rolling Stones song.
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I wish my vocals were that cool.
Yeah.
There was some stuff like yeah, yeah, like distortion vocals, something like that.
Sympathy for the Devil, that's the song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know I should know that. I'm not really a huge Stones guy. I was more of a Beatles guy. So,
Me too.
yeah, yeah. Um, not that the Stones weren't good. Obviously, they were awesome.
Favorite Beatles albums? Go.
Favorite Beatles album was
Two of them.
Rubber Soul was my
Uh,
favorite Beatles album, and this my second one. I'd have to go with Abbey Road.
mhm.
Yeah, those two.
Nice.
Yeah, and then if I had to keep going, I'd put Help third probably. I thought Help was pretty good.
Mhm.
I'm not so much into like the first couple of albums that were just like, the pop, like trying to just get over, on the radio. When they started
Mhm.
taking really control and quit doing all the covers and started, doing drugs and making more fun music, that was that was pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So that
My
was
favorites
fun.
are Please Please Me and Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah, those are pretty far apart. Please Me is like the first one, wasn't it?
Yep. It's like, yeah, I've discussed it already with someone else. It's like no drugs at all, or just full on, like,
Yeah.
somewhere in between just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you went from Sunday School to Rehab on those two albums. Like,
My favorite
uh,
song is Misery, by the way, or A
hmm,
Taste of Honey.
I got
And Good
you.
Morning, Good Morning.
They have so many that are just awesome. I mean, but I can't imagine the one like I want to hear bad Beatles songs. Like, I'm surely they wrote some bad songs. They're like, we're not putting that out.
Wild Honey Pie.
Hmm, I got.
It's weird.
Yeah, they did have some weird stuff. I'm not a big fan of like Across the Universe. I thought that one was weird.
The song.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I tell you, out of your three albums, though, my favorite one was actually the one we can't pronounce, Azimuth. Azimuth.
Oh, wow. How is that? Why?
Why? I don't know, man. It just, it's hard to say why. But man, I think I got 4 or 5 tracks off of that one that I added to my random playlist. Pretty good stuff. So,
Well,
what? Yeah. My favorite ones off of that album were "Faded," "Morning Sun," that long track, that 10-minute track.
yeah.
That was really good. All You Do Is Sway, I thought was really good. And what else did I get off of that one? In a Bind, Aware, um, and Waste of Space. Those were really good. Waste of Space really good with Artem on that one.
Yeah, thank you. I will tell him about it.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think I had yeah, I wrote down two songs. D Person from the other album, that was pretty
Yeah,
good, and I think he was on both of those.
yep.
Now Apple Lake, that was different. That was a different vibe, compared to the rest of them. But I wrote that one down too because I thought it was cool.
Oh wow, that's unexpected. I love country music. I'm a
Yeah,
huge fan.
it was really weird. Like had just changed moods there in the middle of the album, but it worked. I thought it was cool because you could still tell it was like the same person, the same
Oh wow,
artist, but
it's just my favorite bands. Like for example, Neil Morse. You've heard of him, maybe progressive like rock guy from Transatlantic and Smokes Beers, and he sometimes incorporates country kind of stuff in his albums.
yeah,
And also, I really love Birds of Canada, and I love Ween, the band, and their albums, especially Ween. It's just like, for example, 12 songs, each one in different style, but it's still you can hear that it's Ween.
nice.
So, Azimuth. However, for example, you mentioned in a bind, it's a kind of weird pop song, like something I don't know, with electronic drums samples, and there is also Far From Noise track and Aware. It's all like in different styles.
I thought it
Just
was
because,
cool. Now you were singing on that one, right?
yeah, and I am having a hard time listening to it
Well, I
because it was
enjoyed
my
that one.
first. By the way, yeah,
Yeah.
I was I didn't have a microphone. I still don't. I didn't have like anything, and I still don't have anything except my guitar and my old Line 6 Podex 3 Live. Uh, so yeah, and I had to go to Artyom's house to record all the vocals on Azimuth.
Well, it
I
worked out,
was
man.
yeah, he was sitting near me, and because he's a vocalist, and he was telling me like what should I do different, how should I sing, and
Yeah, that goes a
yeah,
long way, man. Just having one person help, so it's not just 100% on you to figure it out, makes so big of a difference. It's just amazing how that just elevates you, and man, it's just great because when you hear the final product after you've been working with somebody, it's awesome. Um, I'm actually part of a internet writing, like a songwriting community that we get together every February, try to write 14 songs in that month. It's called
mhm.
February Album Writing Month, or FAWM for short. So FAWM.org. Shout out to them. They really helped me elevate my songwriting. So it's also where I picked up a lot of collaborators, like I'm in the southern US, but I've collaborated with people in Canada, people in England, people in Amsterdam.
Mhm.
Pretty cool stuff. Um, Barbados, so people are all over the place. So if you ever need some international collaboration ideas, check that site out. Um,
Yeah,
Highly
that's great.
recommended. But anyway, man, we just been running our mouth about our favorite music for like an hour. So let's talk about your new album though, Transvoicer. I thought the press release was pretty interesting. I won't just read it; that'd be boring. I'll let you tell us about it.
Oh well, okay. So Transvoicer, the idea of making this album was born like in March, just before the lockdown and all that stuff. I was walking, and that's like I have few hobbies, and like if walking may be considered as a hobby, it's my hobby. I like walking, and I like walking late evenings, listening to music. And I was listening to Lonely Robot band. Maybe you heard them. It's by John Mitchell, guy from Frost, and progressive rock band Arena. And so it's like I really like their albums. Feelings are good and Under Stars. So that music is very spacey, progressive rock with choruses, and each song you can listen to each song, and it's very everyone can listen to it, not just rock fans. It's very like it's catchy, it's awesome. The production, the vocals, the harmonies, arrangements, and I was thinking like, okay, I did two albums that had like post-rock song, like country song, progressive metal song, electronic interlude stuff. Now it's time to make something kind of like in one style. And to how do I say it? So I needed to have some restrictions to not like go from this style of progressive rock, catchy progressive rock with pop influences. And I was thinking like, okay, what if I do a concept album? So just to like have some songs, just to have a story that will define the track list, that will define the sound, that will define the arrangement. So uh, yeah, that's it. The album title was created by some kind of weird day when I was just, yeah, that's the best way to have some ideas. I was walking with my girlfriend and we were drinking like for 7 or 8 hours straight. then
Nice.
we then we came home and I was like, okay, hear me out. Trans voice. Okay, hear me out again. Trans voicer. That's awesome. I will write it down. Good night. So it was in December 2019, and now we have an album called Transvoicer, and it doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I love it. I love it when it doesn't mean anything because then you could just make up different shit every time somebody asks you.
Exactly. I should maybe come up with some better story, but that's how it is.
Just whoever you're talking to at the time, just say it's about whatever they were just talking about, and they'll be blown away. They'll be like,
Oh
"Oh man,
yeah,
I can't believe that. That's so weird that we met. It must be fate."
well,
And
yeah. But it's an album about like some conflict between two worlds, two planets, and there was a renegade guy who is kind of open-minded to accept both sides of the story, like his own home planet, and he tries to save another planet from extinction, and they're kind of in a conflict. So maybe the word trance, like this calm state of mind, trance.
hey,
Uh,
I'm
so,
I'm with it, man. It works for me.
So maybe he is like voicer who tries to tell people stuff, which and he is influenced by this trance state of mind, open mindedness, and he is like trance voicer. He tries to like be the cool guy, the main character.
I wonder what his real name is.
What?
Who knows? I was saying, I wonder who his real name is. Then I said, who knows?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I just because when I was writing press release, I was thinking about, well, shouldn't be like a guy flow like flies into another planet, meets a girl, and and a bunch of other guys without names. But yeah, I should mention some band right now. It's called Mothman and the Thunderbirds. If you are a fan of Mastodon and Devin Townsend, check it out.
I like
Uh,
Mastodon. Yeah, I love Mastodon. So Mothman and the Thunderbirds.
yep. So their band leader, Alex Parkinson, is also a founder of Burnt Coffee Reviews website, and he helped me a lot with correcting my lyrics in terms of grammar and in terms of press release and PR and all that stuff. So yeah, because
Speaking of grammar, that's actually brought up something I was wondering because obviously I knew you were in Russia, and I didn't know how prevalent it is for people in Russia to speak English versus speaking Russian, or whether everybody's just bilingual over there. How did that come about? Like, is English pretty common in Russia?
mm, I would say not really actually. Some people can say some stuff like my name is something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's hard to find a person who speaks like it's his second language, you know. Sometimes it takes time for people to come up with sentences like remember some words, something like that. Or I watch a lot of movies with subtitles like my whole life, so that's how I learn English. I don't
Really?
learn it on purpose. I just like hear stuff, I remember it, and there we are.
Oh, I wouldn't have known. I mean, you definitely have a hold on it, a grasp on it, you know.
Thank you.
Because it's one thing to like you said, learn the, hey, my name is blah blah. I am looking for the bathroom, but you know,
Yeah.
to be able to hold a conversation is a whole other skill. Um, I think like if you wrote me a note in Swedish, I could probably translate it. But I couldn't have a conversation with you in Swedish. I'd be like, slow down. I can't keep up with this.
Mhm.
Same with Spanish. So I've never learned any Russian. That would be a new one. Now, when you watch,
I think that's the most like one of the most difficult languages because don't try, don't.
no need, huh?
Yeah,
Um, so when you were watching movies, you were listening to uh, Russian dialogue with English subtitles.
no, it's the other way.
Oh, listening to English dialogue with Russian
Russians.
subtitles.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. So when they say, "Hey, my name is," you see it in whatever that is in Russian on
yep,
the subtitles. I got
yep.
you.
Well, you know, when learning, I'm starting to get in like twisted or something like that.
No worries. No
So
worries.
okay, I am afraid that my accent will show up and I will be embarrassed, especially when talking about English. So
Hey, I'm from Mississippi. If anyone has an embarrassing accent, it's probably going to be me, not you. So I wouldn't worry about it.
yeah. By the way, do you know the thing about all y'all, right?
Yeah, yeah, we say y'all a lot.
Okay. So, what did I want to say? Yeah, you can't learn some stuff, some English stuff in like university or something like that, for, like some phrases, something like those small details. They just don't teach them. You should just incorporate them into your brain and live with it
hmm
by watching real people interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's how we learn our own language. You know, it's not like we know our language when we're born. We pick it up
Yeah,
by,
that's crazy.
we don't have a choice because people around us are talking. So we have to learn what the hell they mean, you know.
Yeah,
But if you think about it, you know, if a baby was born and you stuck them in a room for 20 years and just slid food in the slide, when they came out, they wouldn't be able to talk. They wouldn't know a
yeah,
language, you know.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not like a, you know, English brains are developed with English already downloaded. You know what I mean? It's not a, it's not like copy and paste. You know, so at least I don't think that it'd be an interesting experiment. But it'd be kind of mean not to teach somebody how to communicate. But
Yeah.
man, we're all over the place with that. Man, let's play a song or two because people come here for the stories, but they also come here for the sounds as
Yeah,
well,
sure.
man. Um, so give me a track off of your newest album, and um, we could chat about it and then play it. So what's the big single on here that you like?
Well, there was a single that I didn't release because I thought that singles will be too much. Contention. It's the
Contention.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it's number 4.
Yeah. So tell me about Contention. You know, what's the story on that one, and what made you pick that one?
Okay, so I was watching a YouTube video about some Omnisphere library. You know Omnisphere, right? A crazy synth plugin.
Man, I don't. I'm aware of a lot of
Well,
plugins. I don't know that one in particular.
well, anyway, I was watching some videos about some libraries, some stuff, and the guy was just clicking through presets and playing some melodies. And I heard something in what he was playing, and that's how the first melody was born, which is like da 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 da. And
Nice.
yeah, I just heard it, and I'm like, I want to do it because it's like the perfect pop melody for me at least, which is not crossing the line and being like total pop. it's still kind of proggy,
Yeah, proggy
So
pop.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the what whole album is. So what else can I talk? What else can I tell about this track? I don't know. The
Well,
chorus,
lyrically, what's the is there a meaning or is it just like it needs
yeah,
lyrics? So
it takes place in a story where the main character, the other main character, the girl from another planet, which is it's a blue one. It's on your left, or it's a
okay,
green. I don't know. So
this one.
yeah,
Oh, okay. It's green on the single. I think it's blue on the album.
yeah, you're correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, she tries to convince her like politicians or something like that to like believe this guy who just came to their planet to tell them about solar flares, that there is a catastrophe coming on them. So yeah, it's about this. Each song is about something that happens in the story.
All right, cool. Um, well, we will play it so everybody will get a chance to hear it. Now, I'm playing this from Spotify, and I'm assuming though, if someone doesn't have Spotify, they can hear all this stuff on Apple or
Yeah, everywhere.
Amazon, all those places. I don't even know all the. I just use Spotify, but I know YouTube does music now. Amazon has music, Apple, and I'm sure there's some other ones that I've never heard of and don't use. But
Yeah.
all right, well, let's play Contention, and we'll be right back.
Look, if on the surface he seems calm, it doesn't mean there won't be
All right, we're back. Still talking to Igor. How you doing, man?
Doing great.
That was contention. Good stuff. Oh, I didn't even mention, just because we've been so wrapped up in talking that any song we play on the podcast, I also add to my Spotify playlist for the show. It's called Featured on G Slade's Indie Music Showcase, which is a really long title, and I don't even think it shows up in the search. But if you go to man, I want to say it's spotify.gsladeshow.com. It takes you right to the playlist. And yeah, it's cool. It's hours long because it's all the music from all the guests. As long as they have, not everybody has their stuff on Spotify, but the ones that do are out there. So pretty cool. If you just want to sit back, listen to some cool indie music, that's a good playlist to check out. It's of course it's all kind of genres, right? Because I've had, you know, hip hop. I've had rappers on. I've had rockers on. I've had pop singers. I've had everybody in between. I think the only one I'm missing so far is country. I don't think I've had a country artist yet, but I did have one woman that was all it was piano music, which was kind of cool. No lyrics or anything. She was also from Russia, so that's kind of cool.
Well, what's her name?
Nadia. Nadia Cripps, Cripps, and she's in the archive if you go to gsladeshow.com or look up the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. The whole archive's there, so you could definitely check that out. And then the other Russian guest, have you ever heard of the band Edge of Paradise?
Yep.
Yeah, their lead singer is from Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she was on the show. That was one of the it's funny because we were chatting about it in the chat, but that was a episode where I don't know if it was like a combination of the fact we couldn't see each other. It was still just a voice chat, like over the phone kind of thing. And I don't know if it was like me or her or just the time, but it was like the conversations really just didn't roll real, you know what I mean? It was kind of like question and answer, and it was brief, and I was like, oh, okay. So we actually got through it pretty quickly just because we didn't really go off on any tangents or anything. It was fun though. I'd love to have her and the band back on, and they sent me a cool postcard and some pics and all that. So very cool, very very nice, very nice woman. And hopefully when their new stuff comes out, they'll come back on the show. But anyway, that's my list of Russian guests. So that's pretty cool. And of course, your millions of fans will listen to the show after this, so I'll have a big Russian fan base following me. And yeah. And then I read a book trilogy last year, the Red Sparrow series. Are you a big reader? Do you read much?
Oh no. My favorite books are like autobiographies.
Yeah.
I read some stuff by Neil Morse, Devin Townsend, and Ministry and Korn. Some other bands.
I like Ministry. Yeah.
Yeah. I love their more recent stuff. Like for example, Surgical Math Machine. Have you heard it?
I hadn't heard their newer recent
No,
stuff.
It's actually it turned 5 years old.
Yeah, that's still recent.
Yesterday.
I mean, for a band like Ministry, that's pretty recent considering how old they are. So
yeah. So I read the book by L. Jorgensen, or how the hell do you pronounce that? It's so fun.
Ministry was at that same music festival that I was telling you about where I saw Ghost.
Ah, you're so lucky.
Yeah. Ministry was there. Gojira was there. Lamb of God was there. Some pretty heavy hitters. Whitechapel. I don't know. Have you heard Whitechapel?
Yeah. By the way, there are two bands called Whitechapel. There is the other one that's I'm not sure if they are still active, but they're playing some indie rock, and I like that Whitechapel more than the more popular Whitechapel.
Well, I don't know the other one. I just know
no one knows. It's so underground.
But I tell you, live, it was funny because a lot of that music there, I don't think I would have been into had I heard it on the radio, because you just can't really feel it. You know what I mean? Especially metal. It's hard to really pick up all the dynamics, listening to in the car and whatnot. But when I heard it live, I mean, you could like physically feel the bass hitting you, and I don't know. And then you have like the mosh pit, everybody's just, I don't know. It's like a freaking cult experience or something.
Yeah.
And that really made me a fan to where then I can go listen to their music and then it like channels that memory. And man, I tell you, I've just been on a heavy ass music kick since then, just trying to, I have the metal charts of what comes out every Friday, and I just go listen to the new stuff.
Mhm.
One of the favorite ones I've discovered recently is Nervosa. Are you familiar with them?
I heard the title yet again. I'm not really a metal guy for the past like 2 years.
Yeah,
It all sounds the same to me, and I'm just kind of tired. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm just
it
I just
can,
try
yeah.
I'm trying to hear some melody, some like arrangement kind of stuff, some like feelings. I don't know. I
I got
just
you.
yeah.
No,
I
I
just
like
kind
a
of
good melody. I think that's why I like Metallica a lot because it wasn't just like
yeah yeah
they actually sang, and then they had songs like Fade to Black and more melodic stuff like One.
yeah yeah
So yeah, I like how they changed up their sound. It wasn't just like thrash, thrash, thrash. But speaking of thrash, Slayer was at that festival. Anthrax was at the festival. But then it had other bands like Seether, which is somewhere in between metal and
yeah.
pop.
Hmm.
Which they're really good. So, man, it was just an awesome experience. And then you had the nostalgia bands closing it out. First night was Leonard Skinner, which I skipped that one because it was mainly a bunch of rednecks drinking Bud Light, and I was like, see you later.
Oh man,
I don't need to be.
I don't know what I don't like more, like Leonard Skinner or Bud Light.
I don't know.
What's
Well,
worse?
at least I can turn off Leonard Skinner. You know, if you smell a Bud Light, it's hard to get that out of your nose.
Yeah
But
yeah
just light beer in general, right? I haven't had a light beer yet that I liked. I mean, if you're gonna drink a beer, don't get a damn light beer. Go get you a dark, full bodied, stout or porter
yeah
or
yeah.
something. Um, that stuff's pretty good.
I'm just
But
looking supermarkets, like looking at bottles, and like if it's less than 5%, it's not interesting.
yeah, get some old, what is it? Old Angry Bastard or something like that. It's like a Scottish ale, and then there's a man. I don't know. There's some pretty alcoholic stuff out there, like the tripels and stuff are pretty good, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I've turned into a beer snob where I don't even like if it's not like a micro brew. I hardly even want to drink it because you just get way different flavors than like the mass produced, Coors or Budweiser.
I just don't like bars in general, like this whole vibe of like bar, I just hate it. First of all, it's the beer is like 5 times more expensive,
Hmm.
and why? But yet again, I like walking, I like listening to music, I like being left the hell alone. So yeah.
I'm with you there, man. I'm an introvert, and I'm married, and I'll be 40 next year, so I'm not going to bars, man.
Oh, wow, you look much younger, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, man. No, I'm actually my birthday was last week or 10 days ago, some shit like that. We're
So
recording on the
you're
16th.
Aries.
So
Let's make you an Aries.
yeah, it would if that stuff. I don't know. I don't really get into that all that astrology stuff. I always make fun of my kids for reading their horoscopes. I'm like, okay, guys.
Yeah,
What
no,
you know
horoscopes are bullshit.
what I'll do is I'll get the horoscopes and I'll purposely read one that isn't theirs. And I'll be like, here's your horoscope, and I'll read it. And they'll be like, see, that's so me. And I'll be like, yeah, well, it's not even your sign. So haha. And you're like, damn it. I'm like, if you think it applies to you, it's gonna apply to you. Like your what's it called? It's like prepping, mental prepping.
Psychomatic type of thing.
Yeah. If you believe it, of course it's gonna seem true, because you're primed. I think it's called priming, like mental priming. If I say I'm gonna read something that applies to you,
Yeah,
you're gonna look for any reason to believe that it applies to you. So I don't know. I don't get into all that stuff, but I'm a skeptic about most things. So
yeah.
uh,
I just have like a weird memory in my head. I don't know. I remember all the dates, like everything that ever happened to me. Like after the age of 6, I just remember everything.
nice.
And yeah, it's like I think it's not very cool to say that it's both a blessing and a curse. That because
No, that's true.
this phrase is so like overdone. a blessed and a cursed type of like phrase, you know. But yeah, what about astrology and all that stuff? When I just read something, and if I just kind of know something, I will notice like everything about dates of birth, like numbers and dates and all that stuff. It's like constantly going on in my head. I'm walking on the street and I'm looking at the license plates and I'm trying to see if numbers can like if their sum is 13 because I was born on Friday 13th. So
Mm,
13 is a big deal.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a book series about a guy that couldn't forget anything, and it made him a really good detective, but he was kind of miserable just because he recalled everything.
What's the book?
Well,
How
the character's name is Amos Decker, and the first book in that series is called Memory Man, which is kind of obvious, but it's by an author called David Baldacci. And
Yeah, I found it. I found it.
okay, yeah, I've read that whole series. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It's pretty good stuff, but I like Baldacci as an author, so um, pretty good stuff there. And he's like that, he can't
Mhm.
forget stuff. But I think his came from an injury. He wasn't born that way. Yeah, it was an injury, and then it also made him kind of like dismissive, like he's not very socially adept after. It's a football injury. Yeah, he was a football player and got injured. So,
Mhm.
uh, pretty cool. Yeah, so you can just hear a date and know what horoscope it is, huh? What sign it is.
Yeah, that's easy.
Nice. So, well, that had to make school particularly easy, huh?
What?
That had to make it pretty easy at school if you could just remember everything.
Nah, I just didn't care, and yet again, in school you have to be so like socially adapted, which I wasn't. Like around maybe sixth or seventh grade, I just like realized that nothing's ever gonna change. I will hate my school. I will hate my classmates. I will hate everyone. So I just skipped all the lessons and I was walking around the town just not to go to school. Yeah. No, no, it wasn't fun. Sometimes I think that uh, some people tell you that you should mm, like take something positive out of something or not. Let's put it this way. You shouldn't look at something totally like as a negative experience, and you should not like wish something bad to someone like, but I disagree. I think it's totally normal to wish some person like incurable disease or something like that.
It's very normal. Yeah, I mean it's just human. I
No,
think
like
what
some people deserve to be treated this way. That they're like nothing will change them. I don't know. Like in
mhm.
Russia, we have some like long hair, for example, stuff like it's still people hate it. Sometimes, especially in small towns. Yeah, if you're
It,
not like everybody, if you're not like everyone, you're just walking down the street and everyone is like pointing fingers and laughing and like, oh, look at him. Are
yeah.
you a girl or something like that? Are you? What are you?
Yeah, it's probably not that different in Mississippi. My wife has colored hair, like she dyes her
Mhm.
hair, it'll be green for a month and then blue for a month and then it'll be look like a rainbow for a while.
Yeah,
And yeah, if she goes to doctor's appointments or to the supermarket, to buy food or whatever, the old ladies and stuff really stare her down. And now even more so because like half her head shaved, like the side of her head, and then she has all
mhm.
this long, colorful hair. And but she's killing it. And who cares? Let them hate, man. Fuck them, right?
Yeah. I know. As long as it doesn't like turn into a physical abuse,
Right, right.
because sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But like I say, humans are they can be pretty awesome and they can be pretty awful, and um, that's what I like about music, man. It's kind of a shared experience that you could like lose yourself in if you have had shitty interactions with people or whatnot. There's some music out there that's going to make you feel better about it, or you can write music and it's kind of like therapy. I know when I went through my divorce in 2012,
Mhm.
my music was definitely therapy, man. I probably would have exploded and like broke windows and stuff, but I was able to write these like angry songs and get it out of my head. I don't even listen to them now. I took them off the internet because I'm like, I don't need that anymore. Doesn't really
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't represent me anymore. But at the time, man, you need some of that stuff. And I find most really good musicians and artists, they have something like what you're saying, some kind of like story or experience they didn't care for, whether it was, you know, people that made them feel bad or tried to make them feel bad, or situations they didn't like a school, or, shitty parents or whatever it may
Yeah.
have you. It expresses through art.
But sometimes, for example, Rush band, they
Yeah.
just don't have any demos left. Everything that they created, it's all there. They don't have any B-sides, they don't have any bonus discs, they don't have any track that they did not record. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes uh, it works great for me to just like sit and write music without being bothered by anything. Because I'm not sure that I don't believe in inspiration actually. Because like it's cool to like walk somewhere and see something, some like beautiful stuff, but it doesn't really like I tried to do it. I tried to have like long walks and looking at some beautiful stuff, and then came home, picked my guitar, and being disappointed by the fact that I kind of can't do anything because
Yeah.
maybe I expect too much of myself. But I'm the one thing that I believe in. What is inspiration is for me. It's like you saw something beautiful, yet again, for example, right? And it may be there in your mind and it may appear in a form of music or art in like 2 months, 3 months, something like that. It's just there subconsciously. It's just there. And when you don't think about it, it's like it turns itself into the music, you know. But it's not like living something, living like a bad. It's not like having a bad evening and being home the same evening and writing something. It's never like that. When I'm writing music, I'm always like very cold-headed, you know. I don't have any like emotions or thoughts. I'm just writing something that I think will sound good and will represent my my intentions of how my music should sound. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I mean, it works. I mean, you got some good stuff out here, so I'd say your method's working for you. My stuff these days is way less motivated by personal emotions, because I have a relatively pleasant and stable life now. Married
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and got the mortgage, and the two cars in the garage and all that story. So
It's awesome.
now it's just like I want to write a badass riff, and what kind of lyrics would sound cool right here.
Yeah.
you know, that's
Some
where I'm at.
musicians are actually like this. Some of their early stuff is like all over the place, you know, like constantly changing riffs, constantly changing like lyrical themes, constantly. It's like there is not a how do I pronounce this word coherent like theme to it, you know. And when they're like mature, they know the path that the track should take, the album, something like that, and it just becomes much more focused when they have a mortgage and two cars in the garage.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd say these days I'm way more worried about putting out a quality track than I am getting something off my chest, or, just
Mhm.
trying to vent. But yeah, that's the fun thing about music. That's why I like the artists that put out albums. That's why I like that you put out an album, because when you have albums versus just singles, the way a lot of modern artists do, you can kind of like hear like who they are over the years, and what their philosophy towards music was, and what producer they were using. So like an albums to me is like a, I don't know, it's like a diary of that time, whether it's like
Yeah,
whether it's literally stories about them or not. Something about them is going to come through be in the sound. I mean, you could look at any band, Queen, Metallica, Def Leppard. Over the years their sounds evolved, and there's always like a spot, right, where they they kind of go too far in the
Hmm.
experimental stage, and then they kind of like rein it back in. Like in the '90s with Metallica with like Load and all that
Load
stuff.
reload, yeah.
Yeah, those were awful. God. Like they were good musicianship. Like, you know what I mean? Like they played the instruments well, but was not a fan. I think out of those two albums, I like three or four songs out of.
Ain't my bitch.
You like that one? Yeah, I can't remember. Oh man, the one that I really like. There was like one or two on Load, and then I think Memory Remains was pretty good,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously. But yeah, they're not playing a lot of those live, are they?
No, there's still like fans wanna hear Fixer, the track.
Hmm.
The track with 3x Fixer.
Yeah, I must not like it because I'm not even that familiar with it.
Yeah.
The stuff I really like of theirs is from Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and some stuff off and Justice for All. That was a little weird, especially the original mix that had no bass. I couldn't really
Hmm.
listen to it. I was like, I can't listen to a song with no bass in it. Like that's just weird. But they remastered it later and you can hear more bass. There's a
Oh,
few on there that I like One, obviously,
yeah.
goes without saying. But yeah, the Black Album, um, I know it was like really mainstream, but it was really good. It's why it was so successful. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Have you heard their latest one?
Yeah, of course. My favorite by Metallica is actually Death Magnetic.
Okay, I think
And my
that
favorite song is The Day That Never Comes.
I
And
actually think I hadn't listened to Death Magnetic yet. I need to check.
what?
Yeah, I know. I'm it's blasphemy, right? But I haven't I hadn't listened to that one yet. I need to jam that one.
Yeah, I did listen the latest one, Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Yeah, I like
And
that one.
nah, I don't really because the production is kind of it's good, but it's not for me because the snare drum is so loud and everything is kind of
Well,
I don't
Lars,
know.
he's like that, man. That's that ego. His
Yeah.
he's he's got to be
and
out front, even though he's the drums. So
and all those songs are like way too like they didn't work out the transitions between riffs.
I got
And
you.
my favorite moment of that album, if you remember it well, is uh, something Mankind track, and there is this weird riff that reminds me of Machine Head, the
Mm,
band, like
yeah,
with the harmonics. That's a cool riff. And of course, Speed Out the Bone track is awesome.
yeah. I like Moth to a Flame.
Flame, the
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was decent, but I also heard that stuff. Not I wasn't there live, but I watched a live concert, and that's where I heard some of that stuff for the first time. So I don't know. I tend to like anything better live because I don't know. You just get more of a sense of the way it's supposed to sound. There's some artists that I would only listen to them live. Like if I listen to their album, like their studio versions, they're just not much in it. Because it's
Yeah,
so clean, right?
polished. Yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it'd be better to just, hear it on stage with the loud, amps and get the energy because you can get the energy from it. And then the music is almost just like a piece of the whole puzzle. Whereas
yeah,
if you're riding in the car, all you have is the music and traffic, that's all you got. So
yeah,
speaking of music, let's play another one, man. We've played one whole song in almost 2 hours. So
yeah.
let's play another one from the new album, or actually anything you want. But I assume you want to play the new stuff, get that some promotion. So
Yeah, let's play Turncoat Allies. It's short, it's kind of straight to the point.
all right, well, tell me about it. What's the piece of the story here?
The piece of the story is when two main characters meet each other. So they are Turncoat Allies, the main character, which is from his planet, from the red one, and the girl from the other one. And they're like, trying to like communicate, and he saw that she she believes him, like she's on his side.
Okay, so
That,
are they both turncoats against their own planets?
against their own home planet's politics, you know,
Yeah, yeah. I got you.
something like that.
Um, Pretty cool, pretty cool. Now, are there any real life tie-ins to this at all, or is this completely something you just made up because it's cool, or do you have any like hidden subliminal, intention to speak on any modern politics at all?
No, not at all. But you know, the more I think about, especially when I finished writing that story, and it kind of, I was thinking about it like, well, that's my uh, that's my life, maybe something like that, because I'm the guy. And one day I met the girl, and now we're trying to like escape from this like harsh reality sometimes, because it can be this way, like when politics and the whole world is like turning against you, and you're just trying to find some detached peaceful life, you know, from everything. So that's what the main characters do in the end, and some other people who joined them. They just fly away to another planet, leaving those planets to like being destroyed by themselves, by, you know, stubbornness, all that stuff, anger. So
Yeah,
yeah.
sounds about right. Well, let's play it. This is Turncoat Alleys, alleys, Turncoat Allies, and Turncoat Alley. Don't go down Turncoat Alley; it's dangerous. Uh, this is Turncoat Alleys, and we'll be right back.
My home so far away, and no one is on my side. I saw an appealing face, and loveliness under a crowd. Attracted by your sight, there was just something I didn't know. I couldn't describe my thoughts, overwhelmed like there's some passion for seeking the truth. I'm on the shining stars in the night. All the lies they've told me for so long that I lost track of time. There you are. We're just on go to lies, and to die and never meet. We've got what others search for within their entire world. Passion for
All right, man. That's pretty epic.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, it's so crazy you didn't sing on your first album, man. I really like your vocals. I think they
Well,
sound
they
pretty
are
good.
different from Azimuth. By the way, on the second album, Azimuth, I was not aware of. I didn't know how to sing at all, so I was listening to Ghost, and I thought that well, some people just compare my voice to Tobias' voice sometimes, and I was listening to his vocals, and I was thinking about what what is the limit, what is the vocal range, how high I should write my music in terms of like vocal notes, because I didn't know anything about like possibilities, vocal ranges, and the vocal registers, and like all that stuff. I didn't know about it. I just listened to Tobias and I just picked like notes, how high should I go? Because sometimes it's impossible to sing some stuff when you're not trained singer.
Man, I know all about not being able to sing. I do my best, but I don't even know I don't even know where I'd be. What octave I'm in. I did down tune my instruments though, so I wouldn't be too much lower
Mhm.
than the music. um, so personally, I play in drop C. Is there like a favorite tuning for you?
No, I actually like the whole. I have an eight string, and on transvoicer there is not a single note being played on seven and eight strings. I just put this like rubber band. How do you call it? Where you put your hair in it, and I just covered my seven and eight strings in this thing so they don't ring, and that's how my guitar was for like a year of writing and recording. And about
Yeah.
tunings, yeah, I also enjoy playing in open C, which is C G C G C E. You just play it and it's just open chord like right, it's heaven. And yeah, I
Nice.
discovered drop C through Metallica Saint Anger album.
Hmm. I just naturally went there because I was playing in standard, like a
Mhm.
rookie forever. And I um I think it was a Manson song that I was like, well, how the hell does he make that sound? They were like, it's drop D, dumbass. I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, I started playing in drop D, and the album I put out in 2020, um, Raised in America, um, is all in drop D. Like every song's drop D. But then I was like, most of those songs were made in early 2020 or late 2019, and then I was like, well, I want to go a little heavier, so let's just go down another,
Mhm.
another note. So that's how I ended up in drop C because I'm too lazy to make the chords. I like to do
Yeah.
uh, the single finger chords, and then you get some pretty cool harmony opportunities as well. Which is weird. I don't down tune my bass, but I recently started playing a six string bass, like an Ibanez six string.
Mhm.
And I love the tone on that thing, but it's already low enough with that extra, low note. So cool stuff, man. Um, that's one thing we hadn't really touched on is the gear. I know I emailed you about it because I heard your songs. I was like, good tone and all that. But so tell me about your guitar and bass. What are you working with?
Oh, that's funny. My guitar is Ibanez RG8, and I played like for, for 7 years. I don't have any other guitars. Yeah, I have a cheap one, Zombie. You know that brand?
I hadn't heard that brand, but
Yeah, it's very cheap. It's like it was maybe $50 10 years ago, maybe more. And it's in the shape of Explorer, like because I was a Metallica fan.
of course, of course.
Yeah, and I played through a Line 6 Pod X X3 Live uh, for like 10 years. Never had anything else. Yeah, I had Zoom processor, but it's not that good. It's just like a very sandy sound to it, like fizzy, like fuzzy. And well, that's it. I never record any DIs because I just don't like it. It's not natural for me to like. You know, when you have a lot of opportunities, you can't stop tweaking stuff. And when you just record straight like distortions, just distorted signal already, you know, with all the effects, you don't have any choice. You can EQ it, like you can put some delays and reverbs, but that's it.
Hmm.
It's done. You can't, because otherwise I would tweak all of those like 10 songs on the album one after another, changing little things which no one will notice except me, and even I will forget about them like month after release or something like that. Yeah, and bass, well, I never had one. It's all from VST. Like
Okay,
I
what are you using for that then? What VST do you like?
I use Trillion for first albums, but on Transvoicer I switched to Euro Bass, I think it's called.
Yeah,
It
bass.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Russia it's bass. So
Is it? Whoa, look at
yeah.
me. I sound like a jerk.
No. So yeah, Eurobase just has lots of low end, and it's much more like a real bass, because
Yeah.
Trillion really lacks this low end, with this it's not there. It's not in the mix, and it doesn't sound convincing, you know.
Well,
So yeah,
I love my Ibanez bass, man. It's walnut and six strings, and it's just I don't know, man. It's just heaven to play it. Um, so I like to just jam. I don't know. You probably do the same thing. Just sit around sometimes and jam, right? Just play for no particular reason, um, not to record or write or anything, just to play. And I have to not play my bass first. I got to play my lead first, because if I play the bass first, when I go play the lead guitar, for one, it feels like a toy because it's so much smaller. You
yeah,
know, that six string bass, that neck is like,
yeah,
fat,
yeah.
so
I
it's
know, I
like this. So
know.
when I go play the lead, I go from doing this to like just, you know and then it just sounds so damn high. If I play the bass first, my lead guitar just doesn't sound like it's down tuned at all anymore, and it's in drop C, so it's
Yeah,
really low. And I don't know, to me it's just sonically I can't go from bass to lead. I have to go lead bass. So um but I like that too, because I record my guitars first, the drums and the guitar, and then I add the bass, so it just fills it up. And I
yeah.
don't know, I just love that transition. If I'm adding guitars to bass, then I feel like, I don't know, it's a different
Yeah,
uh
you just don't feel like you're putting some metal to it. You feel like
yeah,
you're like picking some very thin strings, and
yeah,
it's
it's
all
weird.
very easy to play, and it's not like brutal at all.
Yeah, that's
Because
why I got to start with, you got to start with the lead and then add the bass, and it's cool because it makes it better. So
it's a good advice. I am going to buy a bass for the next album, I guess, maybe. So yeah, I will
mhm.
follow that advice.
Well, I love that Ibanez six string. In fact, I had a four string, but after a day of playing the six string, I gave the four string to my daughter, who wanted to learn bass. So
Mhm.
I was like, "Here, I don't think I need this anymore." So, but yeah, I don't even down tune it because it's already got a lower note. It's already got like a low B,
Mhm.
at the top. So, um, and it's really cool. I've used VST effects, like 99% of my life, because I just don't have amps and cabinets sitting around. And
Mhm.
but I did splurge and buy myself a Crybaby wah pedal,
Mhm.
and man, I've had so much fun with that thing.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't replicate it with VST.
mm.
It's like too like instinctive stuff when you press it and release. You can't write it down in automation and
You can, but that's
VST.
not even fun. Like at that
Yeah,
point,
exactly.
at that point, I feel like I'm doing a job. Like I'm trying to like figure out some shit. Like I'm an engineer or
Yeah,
program a
yeah, yeah.
computer. So like that's the one effect I was like, yeah, that really needs to be physical. Like get an
Yeah.
old analog pedal. And I also wouldn't mind pick. I use an Octaver pedal on the VST, but I would like to get a real one so I could put it at the beginning of the chain,
Mhm.
instead of it being like, after some my, because I go from a pedal to an amp into my interface, and I'd like to put the octave pedal before the amp, so it doesn't distort the note
Yeah,
modulation,
yeah, yeah.
so that's probably the next physical pedal I'm gonna pick up. Maybe get a pog or something like that,
Mhm.
like a micro pog. fun stuff. I like talking gear, man. What do you edit in? As far as like mixing and mastering.
Cubase for my whole
Cubase,
life. Yeah, it's just
nice.
it feels right. And I tried some new versions of Cubase like 10, 11, but yeah, I just deleted them and I installed again the old version from 2015
I
because
I
because it
have.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. As long as like you're comfortable with it, it's okay.
I think that's what it is whatever you learn on, you just you get comfortable with that. I
Yeah.
got a copy of Cubase when I bought the Scarlett interface, like the i2 or whatever it was.
Mhm.
It came with Cubase and I installed it and looked at it, but I was already used to FL Studio and Adobe Audition.
Mhm.
So that's just what I stick with. I've used Reaper because somebody sent me some files in Reaper. And so I had
Mhm.
to get it. But yeah, I'm just more comfortable in Adobe. I know Pro Tools is real popular, but I've never touched it. So
I tried to, any of the any program is difficult. You just open it and you're like, well, okay, where is the record button? How?
yeah,
Where is it? Where?
yeah, because it's like muscle memory. You want, if you hit the space bar, you want the music to stop, and you
Yeah.
want the like maybe you want the cursor to pause where you hit it, or maybe you want it to go back to where you started the song.
Mhm.
Your workspace is important because you got to be able to find what you need. Whether it's your file explorer or
Yep.
your mixer or whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never used Cubase, but man, they're all really good these days. Like, it's crazy. You can make professional sounding stuff on any of that. So cool beans, man. Well, let's do another track. I'm enjoying the music along with all these stories. So I don't know. Let's do another one. What do we got? What else can we play here?
Well, let's think about it. Let's just play under the. Well, okay. Do you like Rush? Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
Play Sheep, 1426.
That was one of the ones I wrote down on my list of
Oh wow.
Igor's greatest hits earlier. So there you go. So tell me about this one.
The story. Yeah, as I told you, I was born in January 13th, Friday, and my whole life I see this 13 everywhere. So, those, how do you call it? Tram, maybe the public transportation
Yeah,
on a railways.
yeah.
So yeah, I saw the same one for like 6 years, 5 years, the same one with the same serial number, 1426. And the sum, if you like put those together, it means it turns 13,
Oh, it
one,
sure
four,
does. Yeah.
two, six.
Five, seven,
So
13. Yep.
yeah, and I was thinking about our main character should have like some song, some where he's like, okay, come on, let's escape. So there is. So come with me on my ship 1426. It will show us the way out of here. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's why it's called this way. This is the meaning behind this number. Nothing special. I just love this tram and I love this number.
The number for me that always comes up is from Star Wars 1138, THX 1138, and then cell block 1138 and all that. And I use that number a lot, and that also adds up to 13. So it's kind of cool.
THX is a old movie.
Yeah, it was George Lucas's first movie before he did
Oh yeah,
American
I,
Graffiti
I
and Star
remember this
Wars.
one. I remember this one.
Yeah, it was like a student film he did. He did it in film school, and then he did a real production of it once he got out. It's more of like a cult favorite. It didn't make a lot of money, and it's not widely loved, but like deep cut. It's a deep cut, so that
Yeah.
people like if they're really into that obscure stuff. But yeah, so since his first movie was THX 1138, that's where the THX sound name comes from. It's where the 1138 reference comes up when they
Mhm.
go to rescue Princess Leia, right? She's in cell block
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1138.
The
And
recent
then,
Marvel TV series, by the way, we referenced it. If you're into Marvel,
yeah, oh yeah, I love Marvel. And then, did you ever see Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
no, what's that?
It's a movie. It's a sci-fi movie, kind of. It's really cool. It's got like Jude Law and Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. So decent cast. And if you notice, though, when they're walking on the street, they go into like a building, and the address printed on the building is 1138. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I added it to my bookmarks, so I will watch it. So
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. But anyway, let's play the song Ship 1426 or 1426 or
however, whatever.
however you want to say it, I guess.
Yeah.
1426. But now let's play it. We'll be right back. This is Ship 1426.
So I think that we've arrived at the point of no return. Is it way too much to ask for you to say a word? Look around and you feel cold, much colder than before. Now you know the true intentions of those behind closed doors. So come with me on my ship for the 26. It will show us the way out of here. 'Cause life is meaningless when there is nothing to lose. It's time for us to move on and to build a new one. Starting over's not that hard. There are some doors best kept closed. Don't you doubt about your choice to leave this new fate behind. Darkness promises salvation. There will be no way back. So come with me on my ship for the 26. It will show us the way out of here. 'Cause life is meaningless when there is nothing to lose. It's time for us to move on. Now you know the true intentions of those behind closed doors. So come with me on my ship for the 26. It will show us the way out of here. 'Cause life is meaningless when there is nothing to lose. It's time for us to move on, moving on.
That's a fun one, man. It sounds really happy. Like the
Yeah.
the vibe is very happy. Be an interesting music video for that one.
What?
I said it would make an interesting music video.
Yeah, but we don't have any budget, so we
I know
don't.
that feeling, man. I'm trying to put girls through college, so I definitely don't have any music video budgets. I guess I could do one on my cell phone, just be like,
Uh,
do the
I
whole
was thinking
can.
about this, but it's a concept album, and it's like I did a music video once for Indifferent Times track from Azimuth, and it's just three guys playing in this like red blue lights in dark, very dark video. Like everything is black, just like red blue lights from somewhere. That was the music video. The only one I ever did. So yeah.
Well, if you know anybody really good at like computer animation, you could get them to make like a animated movie that goes with the music. That'd
Yeah,
be
but
kind of cool.
that's too complicated, too expensive. Metallica didn't have any music videos before one, so
Hmm.
it's all right.
Yeah, it'd just be fun. Like if you just happen to know somebody, not necessarily pay for it, but if somebody was like, "Hey, man, let me make a movie,"
Yeah,
and you're
that would
like,
be awesome.
"Yeah." I mean, I don't know anybody that could do it, but I'm sure somebody out there can. I've never done a music video because I couldn't imagine people like, would want to watch me for 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever. I'm like, yeah, just listen. I'm just happy if you want to hear me, no need to watch,
Yeah.
just have my, no one wants to see like my dad bod by the pool, like singing, that'd be weird. My first album was actually called Dad Bod Saves the World. It was pretty funny. Um, but that was fun. Yeah, man, music's great. That's why I like talking to you guys from all over the world. Obviously, um, I've had Russia and a lot of other countries on, so that's awesome. So this album, Transvoicer, just came out, right? What was it? March 19th.
19th, yeah.
Now was that date significant for any reason, or it was just logical?
No, no. Uh, so I told about Mothman and Thunderbirds band, and I was thinking about releasing this album as I released everything, like put it to the distributor, right? Who sends the service, who sends that sends music to all those Spotify, Apple, to everyone,
Yeah.
and it usually takes like the best time is 2.5 weeks between when you put it to a distributor and when it appears. You choose the release date, but like 2 weeks is a perfect.
Yeah.
And he told me like, no, you should put it like 6 weeks
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, because like for review purposes. So when I send it to people, they have time like to review it, and
Hmm.
they have lots of other albums to write about. So 6 weeks is like perfect. So the album was done in the like February, I think maybe 5th, something like that, 6th, 7th, and 6 weeks from there was March 19th. So there is no
Well,
reason.
there you go. Now how, one thing I like to get into is that kind of business side of the industry, because a lot of my listeners are also other indie artists.
Mhm.
Um, so when you're sending out, obviously you made a nice clean press release. You have pictures, you have the music, you have a write up, like a kind of a white paper, a single page on what the album's about, what you're about. How do you determine who to send that to, and where do you find people to send it so you can get reviewed?
Well, you just go to Google and write something like album reviews, and you go to all those websites and they have like those contact forms. That's basically it. Like contact us, and there is a email form or like web form. So that's it.
It's interesting is I'll randomly get review requests in my email, which I
Mhm.
find funny because I've never advertised my email for album reviews, but I guess because we have this indie music show, it makes sense. Which is how I've discovered a couple of guests I've had, because I'll get their like press release. So um, other artists out there, put those press releases together because it is a way to get interest. And it just shows that you're, willing to put the work in and, to be business like, if you just send somebody your SoundCloud link,
Oh no, 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 no.
if you just do that and don't send any other info and, you're just like, hey, can you listen to my album?
Yeah.
It's going to
Where
be
are
a,
some band from Russia? Like, check this out, please. And write a review. That's it.
mm-hmm. No, you gotta look professional. You're competing with, I don't know what the percentage of the world population is that does indie music, but I know it's millions of people. So
Yeah.
you're competing with a saturated market. I mean, I forgot the number, but it's like an astronomical number of songs get added to Spotify every day. I mean, you're competing with so many songs that, to you can't be lazy about promoting yourself, because if you don't care, who else is gonna care, right?
Yeah. You can hire like a PR company to do it all for you, but yeah.
If you got the money, yeah. you know. Like I've basically settled for the fact that I'm not trying to heavily promote myself. I do my music for the fun and,
Mhm.
and the enjoyment of it. If I pick up some fans along the way, that's very cool. But I'm not trying to pay the bills with it. But if you are legitimately trying to make it, like music's going to be your career and how you pay the bills, then you got to be your hardest working employee. After you create it, you got to promote it. Or like you
Yeah.
said, invest in somebody to promote it for you. But I don't think anybody can promote you as well as you can promote yourself because you're gonna have the passion, right?
Or like it should be a person who like, gets it.
Yeah, somebody
Who
that
is
believes in you, not just taking your money.
yeah.
Because I don't think like I could pay, I could go Google, as you say, and Google Spotify playlist, and I could pay to be on as many playlists as I want. But
Yeah, there is a
so,
submit hub website, for example.
right, but anybody can do that, and so it really loses its kind of, it's not very special if everybody can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But if you're say you're a music promoter and you like, holy shit, G Slade, your music's the best ever, and like I'm a fan, so I want to promote you. You're probably going to be pretty successful because you care about my success, not just taking my money.
Mhm.
So just a little advice on the business side for our listeners out there, because there's people out there at different stages of the journey. There's beginners, there's experts, and everybody in the middle. So um, I appreciate that everybody's at a different spot in their journey and a different spot in their expectations too. But it takes a lot of work. No one gets accidentally discovered. It sounds great in a biography, but everybody that was ever like discovered was working very hard when they got discovered. It's
Or maybe they had like some like 3 projects before that,
mm-hmm.
like 5 albums released already. And when you think about it, it was like 5 albums, like each time they were like, okay, if it should work this time. Okay,
Yeah.
it should work this time. It was like few years of this, I don't know how to say it, like knocking on a closed door, something like that, until one day it
Mm-hmm.
finally worked. But yeah,
I mean, look at you familiar with Joan Jett?
no, no.
She's a female rock star. She was really big in the '80s. She had that song "I Love Rock and Roll," and
Oh,
uh,
that one that Britney Spears covered.
yeah, Britney Spears covered it, but Joan Jett was the originator, and she did like "Crimson and Clover" and um, uh, "I Hate Myself for Loving You," which Hailstorm covered.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, the point of my story there is that she was part of a band called the Runaways that failed to make it. They had like a brief success and then they failed to make it, and then she tried to shop her album around and was rejected by every single record label she approached. So she literally started her own label
Mhm.
to release it, and she's like a rock and roll Hall of Fame worthy person now.
Mhm.
um, I've seen her live. It was a great show. Even at like 50 or however old she was still awesome. So
Mhm.
yeah, point of all that story was you got to promote yourself, and you're gonna have way more failures than successes. So you got to just push through that stuff.
But
Um,
some bands just over promote themselves. That's what I'm afraid of more than like because it's just it's so annoying when you see how some band trying like to be heard and be seen, and they every day they are uploading something like even if it doesn't have really like a reason, it's just like constantly posting something. I just like hide those bands from my feed because it's like as you said today already, music some sort of like escapism, right? So to escape from reality, something like that. And when you see a band who is trying or artist who is trying to sell himself so hard, you just start to see him as some regular guy, regular band who really tries to like make it. Not it's not anymore something in your ear, something magical. It's something like those are just people who are trying to get heard. Okay.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a balance to be there. You don't want to annoy people where, like you said, you hide their feed.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and then
because it's really annoying. Every time I open Instagram, I see them. I'm just no 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 no.
right. Um, yeah, I don't really care about your dog or you going shopping for clothes, right? Like, give me the music. Some people are into that. I'm not too worried about that myself. I don't
Mhm.
care if my favorite band are, jerks. I don't listen to their music for their personality either.
I would like to see those dogs and everyday hobbies, everyday activities, but that's great. But I just don't like to see posts about some single like third time in the same day. Some pictures, some screenshots. That's just boring, not interesting. But seeing some dogs, yeah, seeing some like.
Well, I like it on their personal pages if I follow their personal page,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I follow like Metallica's page. I don't know. It's probably because I want to know when they're on
Oh, that's a
tour.
that's a that's different like league maybe or something.
Hmm.
But Mike
Yeah.
Portnoy constantly posts stuff about like his personal life, and it's fun.
Yeah, I mean it can be, but yeah, I mean like I said, there's a balance there. But we also already love Metallica before we got on Instagram, right? That's not
Yeah,
how we
yeah, yeah.
discovered them.
It's different.
Yeah,
It's different.
it's very different. Like we see, hey, James Hetfield has an Instagram. I'm going to follow that because I'm already interested in him. But we didn't get interested in
Yeah,
Metallica because James Hetfield has a cute dog, right?
yeah.
We got into Metallica because we heard Master of Puppets or something like that. Um, and so yeah, it's I don't know. There's a balance there because people can't discover you if you don't push yourself, but you also don't want them to do like you said and mute their feed or whatever, and then you miss out on everything. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it's tough right now because you can't play anything live. So, the bands that do play live that haven't quite, Metallica could probably never play another live show. They'd still make millions of dollars off of streams and merchandise. But, for newer bands, they can't do that. They have to go out and play. They got to promote themselves. That's how they find new fans and all that. So,
Yeah.
it just depends on, like I said, where you are in your journey. But speaking of journeys, man, Trance Voicer is very exciting. I hope you have a lot of luck with that. I'll add the songs. We play Contention, Turncoat, Allies, and Ship 1426. We'll add that to the playlist, and of course we'll promote everything on YouTube and Spotify and all that. And I've had a pretty good time talking to you today, man. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
And before we get out of here, though, if you could give any advice to other indie artists out there, what would you tell them?
Oh man. I don't
Put you
know.
on the spot.
Okay. So let's just say if you're creating like a song or an album, be sure to know what is it that you're actually trying to say. Not don't just write something random, something that just sounds nice, something that's just like just write something that has some meaning to it, that like create a path, like that you should follow. Because if you will succeed by like staying true to this path, to this like you know to this image, then if it will fail, you will feel good anyway because you created exactly what you wanted to, not just something that you weren't sure about in the first place.
All right, right on. Well, I enjoyed it, Igor, and we're gonna share links and everything in the description of the episode, so people can find you on Spotify and other places. I recommend everybody check out his whole discography. I've been jamming it all day. Actually, I was working from home today and put it up on my studio monitors, and it's been nice and loud, and I've been getting work done listening to your music, and it's been fun. So I
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
you coming on, man, and I'm gonna wish you luck, and obviously if you do another project down the line, maybe we can bring you back on and talk about that. But
Would be great.
yeah, but to everybody else, I appreciate you listening. This has been G Slade's Indie Music Showcase. As always, I appreciate every listener or viewer, and I hope you come back next time. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.